Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. We going straight to the moon. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. We going straight to the moon. I made 1,000%. Fuck the reverse of the deal.
Yo, what's good with it? Pack fam, it's your boy, Mr. Check My Resume, here to bring you my weekly watch list for the week of August the 22nd. So without any further ado, we're going to hop into a few tickers, and I'm going to get y'all up out of here so y'all can get prepped for tomorrow. First ticker I want to look at is in the healthcare sector, and that is J&J, Johnson & Johnson. So just first things first, looking how it ended on Friday, very strong Friday here. Now looking at a failed 2 down on the month, possibly reversing back to the upside. So we'll be looking for that to occur. Also on the week, we are looking at an actually two down week. I'm sorry. 2 down on the week on J&J. We're looking for the reversal here above 170.12 is a level for entry. We got a few levels on the way up. First, I want to take a look at this 173 to 174 level initially on J&J. Depending on if we still have relative strength in this ticker here, we should carry above here close to the 180 range is ultimately what I'm looking at. Maybe north of 180, but that'll be what I'm looking at initially on J&J. Next ticker I want to look at in the healthcare sector is BMY, Bristol Myers. Again, this one here also did well. We had a bounce off a quarterly broadening formation about 2 weeks ago. We had a nice movement off of that one, and now we came back down to a weekly BF, and we reversed off of that very nicely here. So we got a couple things going on. First off, we had a 312 to the downside on the month. That 2 down failed, essentially came down to a quarterly broadening formation that I spoke about here and rev back up from there. So now we have a hammer forming on the month. Also on the week, we close with the inside candle after a slight push down to that weekly broadening formation. So now we're looking at a 212 here above 75.71 to take entry. We are still inside on the quarter, but again, off of that reversal off the quarterly broadening formation, I'm looking for this one to go test the other side of this range, potentially at around the $80 range. So that's ultimately where I'm looking at, but first we've got to get through this $76, $77 level. And next above that, we've got $79, $80. So that'll be the path that I'll be looking to take on that BMY. So to keep it rolling here, next thing I want to look at is moving on to energy sector. Got a couple tickers I want to point out that we still have not taken off on. First one, I think this is the one everybody's kind of been, waiting on. That's CVX, Chevron here. We had a 2 up on Friday, but it was a bears a red 2 up, 4 the shooter. So we'll be looking to see how the week opens up on this one. But I think what everybody's looking at here is this triple inside week that's been forming. We are kind of squeezing between 2 broadening formations. So we'll see what happens. I think the last time we took a trade off of a trigger similar to this was SO, and that trade is still moving actually to this day. It's been going all-time high. So we know how these trades can perform. So we'll be waiting on that one. Also on the month, we're waiting on the 322 on the month. 322 on the month here above 164.66. And again, if we get that trigger point, I'm expecting this CVX to push up to the 180, 182 range. So that'll be what I'm looking at here on CVX. Next one in the energy sector I want to look at here is FANG, FANG. Want to take a look at FANG. We've got 2 up on Friday. Nice day there. Also, we are looking at an inside week that closed very strong. So we're looking at this 212 potentially here above 130, 159 Also, we are in force on the month. We did come in contact with that quarterly broadening formation, but as you can see, price just, gap down and then kind of reverse back up. So it's telling me this is a TTO that we're facing here. And again, we had the 2 down on the quarter, but it has failed and it is going, price is pushing up. So that'll be what we're looking at on FANG. Those are the 2 tickers I have in the energy sector. Moving on here to consumer discretionary. First ticker I want to talk about is Penn Gaming, PNN. So on Penn Gaming, this is the downside play that I'm looking at here. We had Penn with the 2 down on Friday. It did come in contact with the monthly level broadening formation, so price did push just a tad to the upside, but it didn't show too much strength to end the day. So we're looking at a couple of things. It failed 2 up on the month, and we are looking at a double inside month here on Penn Gaming to the downside. We are looking at a potential double inside break below 33.92. I'll be looking at the $32 level initially, 32.50, and then down to the $30 level will be ultimately what I'm looking at on Penn. The question will be, I think, is will we gap down significantly to that level, or will we get some intraday movement to get this trigger? So that's the first one I'm looking at in the discretionary, and it is a downside trigger. Next ticker I'm looking at is Dollar Tree. This was to the upside, looking at Dollar Tree for an inside break here on the day. Also, we've got a zoom in here on the week. We've got a 2 down on the week, very strong green on the week, and we are inside still on the month. We are starting to push up and inside on the quarter. So we're getting close to 2 up on the quarter as well, above that 177. So we're inching our way up. First thing I want to look at here is on the day. First off, we are looking at a 212 potentially above 168.74 on Dollar Tree. Next thing I'm looking at, and if we do take that day trade, I'm looking, or that daily trigger, I should say, looking at a target of about 170. Also, if you're looking at the weekly trigger, we're looking at a 2-2 rev above 169.79. And our target on that one, I'm looking at really about the 180 range. Give yourself some time for it to make its way. However, Dollar Tree is one, when it goes, it can go. So we'll be keeping our eye out for that trigger as well. And like I mentioned, we're still inside on the quarter. Moving on out of discretionary. Want to move down here to staples. I want to talk about KHC, Kraft Heinz, ketchup as we call it in the pack. First thing I want to look at, we saw the 2 up on the day on Friday, very nice day, and that helped us close out the week. Inside green above this broadening formation, and we're looking for a continuation above this continuation on the week above 38.95 is our level there on KHC. I'm looking for this one to go push up to the $42 range, which it seems to be a range that it likes. So we'll see what happens when it gets there. But we've just been consolidating ever since we had that big gap down. So again, on the month, we are looking at a 3, just looking for 2 up on the month, actually, and we'll get that right here above 39.44. So that's what I'll be looking at here on KHC ketchup. Most of the other staple stocks have already triggered in force, so this is one of the laggards, you could say. Next one here I want to talk about is the tech sector, IT, CRWD, crowd. This one's a downside move, looking at crowd to make a move to the downside. The thought here is maybe that hopefully we don't gap down, but that may be the case. And if that does, it may disrupt what the plan is on this one. But I'm looking at crowd with the 212 potential to the downside below 188.55. Looking at a target of around 185 initially. If we don't get a strong bounce off point of control here of about 185, and I'm thinking we're going to push even further down to about this 178, 170, maybe even down to 175 level on crowd. And hey, we'll see what happens from there, but that's what I'm thinking about. That correlates with some broadening formations at the month level, so I could see some upward movement once crowd got to that level. thought here is hopefully it doesn't gap down significantly to where we can't catch that trade. So that is crowd. Moving on. Last ticker I have is in the communication sector, and that is Meta, artist formerly known as Facebook. So Facebook, Meta had this 2 down on the day on Friday. We are looking at a couple of things here. First and foremost, we had the 2 down on the day. We have double inside months. We keep coming into contact with this quarterly broadening formation, and it keeps rejecting and pushing price back down. So looks to me again, off of this rejection, we're looking at a slide this up here. We're looking at a 2-1-2 reversal off the broadening formation back to the downside below 167.05. Initial targets, if you're looking for a shorter trade, it's probably going to be like 163-ish, 163, 163.50. Next levels I'll be looking at is just under 155, maybe down to 150 level. And then you've got some monthly broadening formations down here at about the 145 level. Not sure if we get that far down, but you will see maybe some immediate downside action on Meta. So that's all I've got. So with that, I'll let you all go and get prepared for the rest of the week. And we're gonna have another productive week, Pack. So with that, y'all take it easy. Peace.